I can't trust this horse. I can't completely use this horse. Here's another picture there as he has him running. Again, the tail is out, the head is up, and really to some degree, the horse is looking outside of the fence again. Now, this is a part of Bob's herd. He's worked with him a number of times, so they've gone through all the basic processes. But right as he gets him running, this horse goes back to the old nature. He says, my answer's got to be out there. I want to get away from this kook. I want to get away from this guy who's trying to make me work, make me run around in here, trying to do all these things. I just want to run. Get me out of here as soon as possible. Bob says, see, he's trying to get away from me instead of trying to accept me and letting me work with him. And so I've got some things to do with this horse. And so off he gets this horse running again, working with him, doing a number of things. You know, he had that horse running around in there for, I don't know, let's just say 5 minutes or so. Well, after a while, that horse, that tail started coming down. The head started coming down. And so Bob slowed him down, brought him to a walk. And then he stopped him, and then he summoned the horse, and the horse came walking right over to him. It was wanting to be touched, wanting to be shown affection. Bob says, boy, he's putting on a good show right now. But Bob said, I know the answer. The only reason he came up to me right now, the only reason he submitted, is he knew if he submitted, he would get rest. He's not submitting because he wants to completely rely upon me. He just wants to rest. So sure enough, the horse came over and was showing affection and wanted to be by Bob and follow him wherever he walked around in there. But as soon as he got his strength back, that head started coming back up and that tail started going back out. Bob said, time to work him again. And there you go. There's the tail. There's the head. Bob said, see, I got to work him. I need to get that pride out of there so I can use them. So Bob got that horse running, and that pride is still present in there. Now, notice the difference between this horse and the last horse. Again, if you can see here, he has the lasso around his neck. It comes in between the two front legs, wrapped around the back leg, and then it comes out. Bob did all that on purpose. I don't know how you do something like that, but he flicks it and does all these things. The next thing, he's got the horse all tangled. Now, the other horse, he was bucking and kicking. He just wanted to get out. Well, this horse knows all the right answers. Oh, all right, tied up. Master's got me tied up. I guess I better slow down. Better just stand here. He's in charge. So he knows all the answers. He's looking right over at Bob. You've got the rope. Okay, I guess I better submit. You know, we'll submit when maybe some big problem comes along, when something happens. Okay, this is what God wants me to do here. I know I do A, B, C. All right, I'll do that. That doesn't mean we're relying upon God. We just know the right answers now. We've been saved long enough. We've been in the herd long enough. We know the right things to do. And this horse, he just stops. All right, this is what she wants me to do. And so he behaves himself. But the eye of the trainer, no, he's still not submitted. He just knows all the answers when I throw the questions at him. But he's still not submitted. So, time to do a little more work. And once again, Bob has him running. He throws however far into the training. That pride just keeps coming back. And whenever really that smaller trial comes of just having to run, he says, okay, I can handle this one. All right, tangle me up in the rope. I'll stop. I'll listen to you. I can handle a little trial. I can handle this one. Let me do it all by myself. It's like the little 2-year-old who says, no, me, I'll do it. The mom and dad are saying, you're not ready for this one yet. Well, how many times does God have to look at us and say, you're not ready for this? Would you just submit to me? Well, that pride kept coming back, and he had to keep working with that horse. But notice now, after running for so long, the head's down some. That tail isn't as high as it was before. It's now actually coming down some. That horse is finally submitting. And this was probably a half hour into working with this horse. 20 minutes, half hour, however long it was, working with this horse before it finally really started submitting and surrendering. But how much time was wasted? When he could have been doing something meaningful. Bob could have saddled up this horse like he did and said, all right, hey, let's go out for a ride. You'll love this. We got some beautiful countryside to explore. We got some work to get done. We can go round up some cattle out there. We can go see what's being done on the ranch. Let's just go have some fun. Let's just go do some work that we could do here on this ranch, just like you're made for. But instead of being able to do with that, Bob had to go back to horse that should have known all the right things, did know all. It was all head knowledge, but it wasn't heart knowledge. And Bob had to waste time really working with his horse instead of doing something meaningful. As I was listening to Bob said, all right, let me tell you something about a good horse. And he gave me, from what I can remember, about 3 good qualities of a horse. 3 things to look out for. First one is this. A good horse will always keep one ear fixed on the master. Now, I guess I hadn't paid attention before. Maybe I'd seen it, but I really hadn't paid attention. But a horse's ears work independent one of another. And Bob actually told me that earlier, and you see that this ear is actually focused in on the master. It's over there. The other is listening outside somewhere, but the one ear is fixed on the master. He said a good horse will always keep one ear fixed on the master. It doesn't matter what happens. There'll be some big noise happen, but he'll always listen to the master. Now, when he told me that, that was when he was working with somebody else and their horse. But the whole time that he was working with this other person, Bob was sitting on his own horse. He was up on his horse, and he had his horse just stood still. So I just figured, well, I'm going to watch Bob and his horse the whole time. We were there 45 minutes or so working with his other horse. So the whole time I'd keep looking over at Bob and his horse, and certainly enough, one ear was always pointing backwards at Bob sitting on the horse. Always listening to him. Now at one point, big truck came rumbling by, and I thought, oh, this is going to be it. The horse has to listen to see what's going on. Well, in order to listen to that truck, you know what the horse did? He turned his other ear back on the master first, then he listened over here. And as soon as that noise went by, all right, he turned his ear back and he started listening to this side again. But he made sure his ear was fixed back on the master, because what if at that moment he was distracted, the master said something to him? He would have missed it. So he always kept one ear fixed on the master. Second quality of a good horse. A good horse will obey immediately. Now what Bob is doing right here is he would jump in the front of the horse pretty much the last second, and he would make some kind of gesture. And he told me, he said, he'd done this a few times, and the horse would turn the wrong way. And he said, this horse knows what he's supposed to do. And this time he jumped in front of the horse and did what he was supposed to, and the horse turned the way that Bob wanted him to. See, a horse has to obey immediately. If the horse doesn't obey, there's a couple of things that could happen. One, he could hurt Bob. Could come running into Bob, and then you'd have a problem there. The other is, if he turns the other way, he's going to run into the fence. Bob said he has to go the way I want him to. And he might want to go the other way, but he has to go my way, because he doesn't know what's resting the other way. I know the best way for him to turn. I know the way that he needs to go at any point. He needs to listen to me. A good horse will obey immediately. So a good horse will always listen to its master. A good horse will always obey immediately. And then a good horse trusts the master in adversity. Now look at the rope. The rope is all tangled around this horse. He's got them all wrapped up. And the horse is just standing there now. This is after all of that work, after all that training. But he's just standing there. He's just looking at Bob. All right, I'm tangled up in the rope again. Well, he'll get me out of it when he wants to. I'll just sit here and listen to him, learn what I'm supposed to. A good horse trust the master in the time of adversity. Now, those are three qualities we need to have. We need to always keep one ear fixed on our master. We're going to have storms come through. We're going to have loud trucks come rumbling by. We're going to have all sorts of things that are going to want to distract us, but we better make sure we keep one ear fixed on the master, because we never know when he's going to tell us something that we need to hear. And we better always obey immediately, because we don't know what he wants us to do. But he does. And he might want us to turn right. We're really wanting to turn left, but he wants to turn us right. Well, we better listen to him, because who knows? Maybe there's a gopher hole over on the left. And if we turn left, we're going to break our leg. We're going to get hurt. And so we need to trust in the middle of adversity. When trials come, that's the time we really need to rely upon him. Now, we need to rely upon him at all times, but we need to look at him in the time of adversity. Bob said, I can take a good horse anywhere. Doesn't matter what happens. We can be in the middle of a thunderstorm. That horse is going to trust in me, and I don't need to fear what's going to happen. You know, something interesting about a good horse also that I saw is that a good horse is going to follow anywhere. He'll go wherever the master leads. And I got to the point with this horse, it happened some with the other horse, but to the point with this horse, that Bob would walk around in this pen, and you know what would happen? That horse would stick his head right behind Bob's right shoulder normally, it seemed like. And wherever Bob would walk in that pen, without pulling on the rope at all, that horse would stay right there. You know, I need to stay with the master. I thought it was pretty amazing. Here he goes, he's just walking around, and that horse would just follow along right behind him. Until, all of a sudden, Bob walked over to a specific corner, and I didn't realize what happened at first, but I noticed the horse stopped. Then I